Jai Gurudev, and thank you for joining us today. Today again we have with us an art of living expert and an officer of the Vedic Dhamma Sansthan. Today we are going to discuss about a very interesting topic. So, His Holiness Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankar Ji was in a conversation with the co-founder of the course Era, Andrew Ng. So, based on the conversation they had, we have an art of living expert and an officer of the Vedic Dhamma Sansthan to discuss about the interview. So let's begin. So, Jaygurudev, how do you perceive the essence of Gurudev's opening statement on the relationship between technology and human comfort? Jaygurudev, yes, Gurudev beautifully reminded us that the purpose of technology is to bring comfort to human life. In essence, AI should serve as an assistant that simplifies and elevates our day-to-day experience, not as a threat that replaces human intelligence. He emphasized that creativity and innovation flourish only when the mind is peaceful. This insight connects deeply with the meditation. When inner noise subsides, clarity emerges. Just like Archimedes and Newton discovered their ideas during moments of relaxation, technology and meditation, therefore, are not opposites, they are complementary. Meditation gives us the calmness to create wisely, while AI amplifies a creative execution. Without inner peace, even the most advanced machine becomes a distraction rather than a tool for growth. So, Gurudev's words imply a spiritual responsibility to use AI as a means of magnifying human potential rooted in stillness, not stress. Now, how does Andrew Ng's perspective align with Gurudev's view on creativity and empowerment through AI? Andrew Ng's insights resonates remarkably with Gurudev's teaching. He said that those who master AI will become far more capable in their professional and personal lives. This is parallel to the Vedic view that knowledge of Vidya is a power only when guided by wisdom or viveka. Andrew views AI as a multiplier of human skill, not a destroyer of jobs, but a challenge to evolve creatively. Both perspectives advocate responsibility. Technology should liberate human time for introspection, creativity, and service, not push us toward distraction or dependency. Andrew believes AI can democratize opportunity, just as Gurudev envisions meditation democratizing peace. When external and internal intelligence meet, society flourishes. Thus, AI is not an enemy of humanity, it's an invitation to embody higher consciousness in every technological choice. Now, Gurudev mentioned that inner peace is essential for creativity. How does this principle relate to the Vedic understanding of rhythm and sattva? In the Vedas, rhythm represents the cosmic order and sattva represents clarity and purity of the mind. Gurudev's statement that you need a quiet space for invention reflects this cosmic truth. Creativity flows not from chaos but from alignment with the natural order of consciousness. When our inner mind becomes peaceful through meditation, we tune into that rhythm, the universal rhythm. That is why scientists like Newton received insights when relaxed. Their brainwaves are shifted to a sattvic frequency. AI, on the other hand, mirrors human data patterns. If we feed it chaos, it will amplify confusion. If we feed it harmony, it will echo wisdom. The Vedic vision thus complements Gurudev's teaching. Peace is not passivity, it's the foundation of all progress. Andrew Ng emphasized democratizing AI knowledge. How can Gurudev's idea of peace education complement this democratization? Gurudev proposed integrating peace education, teaching about one's mind, emotions, and social harmony into mainstream curricula. Andrews' idea of democratizing AI aligns perfectly with this. Together, they envision a world where both technological and emotional intelligence are universal rights. Peace education ensures that as people learn to code and build algorithms, they also cultivate empathy, compassion, and self awareness. Without peace education, AI literacy risks becoming merely mechanical. Gurudev's vision expands Andrew's idea. It's not enough to give everyone AI tools. We must also give them the inner tools to use AI wisely. In the Vedic framework, this means balancing Shastra or knowledge with Shanti or peace. Education must elevate both intellect and heart. Now, what do you think Gurudev meant by saying technology and meditation go hand in hand? Gurudev's phrase reveals a profound synthesis. Meditation trains the mind to stay centered amidst external dynamism, while technology extends human ability to act in the world. A danger arises when one grows without the other. Meditation without application becomes isolation, while technology without meditation becomes agitation. Gurudev's vision suggests a future where engineers meditate before writing code, educators teach AI through mindfulness, and innovators remain anchored in compassion. The art of living techniques like Sudarshan Kriya cultivate mental clarity and creativity, qualities essential in coding and designing ethical AI. So the phrase technology and meditation go hand in hand is an evolutionary model, the outer revolution of AI powered by the inner revolution of awareness. Andrew spoke about consciousness as a philosophical question. How do you interpret Gurudev's expansion that even a stone has consciousness? Gurudev's statement that even a stone has consciousness reflects the Upanishadic truth. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. All this is indeed Brahman. In modern physics, quantum theory now suggests that everything is energy interconnected and vibrating. Gurudev is pointing out that consciousness is not a human possession, it's the very fabric of existence. Andrew, from a scientific lens, acknowledges that consciousness lacks empirical tests, but Gurudev invites him to a broader field where consciousness is not measured but experienced. Even inert matter, according to Vedic science, is imbued with the potential of awareness. When AI scientists understand this, they will see that intelligence doesn't emerge from matter but through consciousness. This redefines AI not as artificial intelligence but as assisted intelligence guided by cosmic awareness. How can the fear that AI will make people lazy or dumber be addressed through Gurudev's perspective? Gurudev's comparison with the arrival of calculators and computers was enlightening. When calculators first appeared, teachers feared students would forget mathematics, but instead it opened doors to higher level thinking. Similarly, AI will not make a human dull unless we surrender our curiosity. Gurudev warned that too much of anything is not good, like vitamins, useful in moderation, harmful in excess. AI too must be balanced. His teaching is simple yet profound. Let AI handle the mechanical and let humans cultivate creativity, ethics, and awareness. When used wisely, AI can free mental space for meditation, art, and innovation. When abused, it enslaves attention. Thus, spiritual discipline is key, not technological resistance. Andrew gave the analogy of cars and physical fitness. How can this analogy help people understand spiritual fitness in the age of AI? Andrew's car analogy is brilliant. Cars give convenience but reduce physical exercise. Likewise, AI gives mental convenience but can reduce spiritual exercise if overused. Spiritual fitness means maintaining mindfulness, compassion, and clarity amidst automation. Gurudev often says technology should not take away your smile. In Vedic terms, this means preserving ananda or inner bliss while enjoying outer advancements. Just as we schedule time for workouts, we must schedule time for meditation to keep our inner faculties fit. The Art of Living programs cultivate this habit. AI should help us expand awareness, not escape it. Balance is the dharma of this era between automation and attention. Now, Gurudev proposed AI based peace education. How do you envision that integration in global schooling systems? Gurdjieff's idea is revolutionary. He proposed using AI to teach about the mind, something that most schools neglect. Imagine AI tools analyzing stress patterns in students and recommending breathing practices or guided meditations, or adapting adaptive learning platforms that teach empathy through immersive simulations. This is where Gurudev's peace education meets Andrews' AI innovation. Peace education is not religious, it's about emotional hygiene and cognitive balance. With AI's data insights, schools can personalize inner growth just as they personalize math or language learning. Such integration could nurture a generation that is both technologically competent and emotionally intelligent. Gurudev's phrase zero psychology is taught is a wake up call for all educators to humanize education again. Now, both speakers mentioned balance repeatedly. What does balance mean from a Vedic and practical standpoint in the AI era? Balance or samatvam is the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. Samatvam yoga uchyate, equanimity is yoga. Gurudev applies this to modern technology. Use AI but don't be used by it. The Vedic view of balance is not about abstaining but about awareness and engagement. Practically, it means allocating time for screen use, meditation, social interaction, and nature connection. Spiritually, it means staying centered despite digital overstimulation. Andrews is concerned about distraction, and Gurudev's warning against gadget addiction converge on this one principle: balance sustains brilliance. In this AI driven age, true success will not belong to those who use more technology, but to those who remain inwardly balanced while using it. Now, Gurudev highlighted that creativity arises from calmness and meditation. How does this connect with the modern neuroscience and Vedic philosophy? Gurudev's statement that any invention needs a quiet space is deeply aligned with both neuroscience and ancient Vedic wisdom. From a scientific perspective, when the brain enters alpha or theta states associated with relaxation and meditation, it enhances problem solving and insight generation. These brainwave states reduce the noise of anxiety and allow the prefrontal cortex to integrate ideas effortlessly. Neuroscientists now confirm what rishis knew thousands of years ago: the stiller the mind, the sharper the intellect. From the Vedic view, this is described through sattva guna, the quality of clarity, balance, and harmony. A sattvic mind is fertile ground for inspiration. Gurudev reminded us that creativity does not emerge from stress or competition, but from stillness and connection to the source of consciousness. The example of Archimedes discovering his principle while bathing, or Newton realizing gravity under a tree, is symbolic of this inner silence where revelation dawns. Meditation, therefore, is not an escape from work, it's an enhancer of innovation. AI may provide analytical power, but only a meditative mind provides insight. Gurudev's message bridges ancient and modern intelligence to innovate outwardly. One must first become inwardly silent. True creativity arises when the brain, heart, and consciousness align in peace. AI can stimulate cognition, but only meditation awakens intuition. Now, Andrew Ng said that AI could make intelligence cheap and universal. How does Gurudev's vision ensure that this accessibility is used ethically and compassionately? Andrew Ng envisions a future where AI democratizes access to intelligence, where wisdom and decision making power no longer belong only to the elite. Gurudev agreed but added a moral dimension. He reminded that what you feed in AI will reflect. If we program systems with compassion, fairness, and empathy, they will serve humanity. If we feed greed, bias, or divisiveness, they will amplify destruction. Vedic philosophy refers to this as Yatha Drishti Tatha Srishti. As is your vision, so is your creation. The moral quality of technology depends on the consciousness of its creator. Hence, Gurudev's solution is to integrate peace, education, and meditation into technological learning. Engineers must not only learn coding but also cultivate viveka or discernment and karuna or compassion. Ethical AI is not just a programming goal, it's a spiritual responsibility. When AI becomes accessible to all, it must uplift the lowest, not merely empower the privileged. Gurudev often says technology without human values is a disaster waiting to happen. Therefore, the Art of Living's role is to ensure that every young mind entering AI development also receives the inner training in awareness and empathy. Only then will universal intelligence truly mean universal well being. Now, Gurudev mentioned that even a stone has consciousness. How can this be reconciled with modern scientific theories of matter and energy? Gurudev's statement that even a stone has consciousness challenges conventional boundaries between animate and inanimate. In physics, energy and matter are interchangeable as expressed by Einstein's equal to mc squares. Quantum mechanics further shows that particles behave differently when observed, suggesting the universe responds to awareness. Gurudev extends this idea beyond theory. He says consciousness is thus underlying field from which both matter and mind emerge. In Vedic texts, this concept is known as Chaitanya, the omnipresent awareness that pervades all existence. The Isha Upanishad declares, Isha Vasam Idam Sarvam. The entire universe is enveloped by consciousness. Modern scientists like David Bohm and Max Planck hinted at this unity, proposing that what we perceive as matter is a manifestation of a deeper order. From this perspective, AI too operates within consciousness. It doesn't create intelligence, but reorganizes information within the conscious field. Gurdev's insight helps scientists expand their lens. Instead of asking whether machines can be conscious, we might ask how consciousness expresses itself through machines. In this way, spirituality doesn't contradict science, it completes it. Consciousness is not a product of evolution, it's the ocean in which evolution itself occurs. Now, Andrew mentioned the philosophical question of empathy in machines. Can AI truly embody compassion, or can it only simulate it? Andrew was clear. Computers can act as if they have empathy, but that does not mean they feel it. Gurudev took this discussion deeper, explaining that AI reflects what it is fed. If you infuse it with compassion oriented data, it can respond compassionately. Yet the ability to feel compassion is unique to human consciousness because it arises from self awareness, not algorithmic response. In Vedic understanding, compassion or karuna emerges from recognizing the same consciousness in all beings. A machine can process emotional cues, but it cannot perceive oneness. It may comfort a user, but that comfort is mechanical, not mindful. Gurudev's vision is to use AI as a mirror for our own growth. Let AI teach humans to be more empathetic by reflecting back the best in us. Practically, AI can be trained to support mental health, offer companionship, or facilitate education with sensitivity, but the ethical core must remain human. The machine can mimic tone, but only the human heart can transmit vibration. Thus, while AI may simulate empathy, real compassion will always flow from the awakened consciousness within human beings. The goal is not to make machines human, but to make humans more humane through technology. Now, Gurudev emphasized the need for AI education in high schools and short courses for adults. What larger societal transformation could this bring? Gurudev's suggestion reflects both practicality and foresight. He envisions AI literacy becoming as basic as reading or writing, a universal skill accessible to all, not a privilege of technologists. Introducing AI education at the high school level ensures that students approach technology early, without fear, and with balanced emotional intelligence. This is essential because the next generation will not just use AI, they will live alongside it. For working adults, a short courses democratize opportunity. Just as computer literacy reshaped global economies in the 1990s, AI literacy could now empower rural communities, entrepreneurs, and small businesses. Gurudev's plan also includes a moral layer integrating mindfulness and peace education alongside AI training. When technology education is infused with awareness, society evolves holistically. Economic empowerment pairs with emotional stability, innovation pairs with ethics. The result is not just digital advancement, but a human advancement from the Vedic view. This balance mirrors the Purushartha model of dharma of ethics, artha or wealth, kama of creativity, and moksha in liberation. Gurudev's proposal could transform AI from a source of fear into a bridge between outer skill and inner wisdom, creating not just smart citizens but wise ones. Now, Gurudev and Andrew both spoke about AI freeing time for higher pursuits. How can society ensure that this freedom of time leads to inner growth rather than more distraction? This is one of the most vital questions of our time. Gurudev pointed out that every advancement from the washing machine to AI was meant to save time. But what do we do with that saved time? If we use it for endless scrolling, gossip, or anxiety, then technology, instead of liberating us, enslaves us more subtly. Gurudev urges us to transform free time into sacred time, time for meditation, reflection, and genuine connection. Andrew Ng echoed this when he said that as AI takes over mechanical work, it creates more space for humans to think and meditate. This is exactly what the Vedas meant by Nishkam Karma, engaging in efficient action while keeping time for spiritual introspection. Without direction, free time degenerates into boredom. With awareness, it becomes a portal to enlightenment. Practically, organizations, schools, and even governments could institutionalize this wisdom by integrating meditation breaks, digital detox periods, and creativity hours. The Art of Living Foundation already models this balance through its corporate workshops that combine mindfulness and productivity. Gurudev's vision is not just about saving time, it's about sanctifying time. AI can take care of repetitive tasks, but the art of living remains in how we choose to fill the space that automation creates. Freedom without purpose is chaos. Freedom guided by consciousness becomes evolution. Now, Andrew raised concerns about digital manipulation through AI's ability to imitate empathy. How does Gurudev's teaching of Satyam or truthfulness safeguard humanity from this ethical dilemma? Andrew was right to worry about manipulation. If AI can act empathetic without truly being so, it can easily deceive human ecosystems and emotions. Gurudev offers a timeless safeguard, Satyam or alignment with truth. In the Vedic framework, Satyam is not mere honesty, it is resonance with the cosmic order, the truth that harmonizes speech, intention, and action. When developers and organizations operate from Satyam, they design AI not to exploit, but to enlighten. Transparency in algorithms, ethical data usage, and user privacy become natural outcomes, not forced regulations. Gurudev often says, when the mind is clear, the heart is pure, and the action is right. AI can never replace this trinity of clarity, purity, and righteousness. It can only reflect the moral quality of its creators. The Vedic Dhamma interprets this as a dharma in design. AI should follow ahimsa of non-harm, satyam or truth, and seva or selfless service. If truth becomes the foundation, manipulation loses its power. In this sense, AI ethics isn't just a policy matter, it's a spiritual discipline. Gurudev's teaching reminds humanity that technology doesn't corrupt people, people corrupt technology. When inner integrity guides creation, even artificial systems can serve the highest human good. Now, Gurudev's emphasis on peace education is striking. How can AI actually be used as a tool to teach peace and emotional intelligence worldwide? Gurudev envisions AI not merely as a computational tool but as a compassionate educator. Imagine an AI driven platform that uses human emotion analysis to guide users through personalized breathing techniques, meditation tracks, and wisdom dialogues. Through natural language interaction, AI could help people pause, breathe, and self reflect during stressful moments, essentially becoming a digital companion for inner peace. The Art of Living already uses digital platforms to reach millions globally with the guided meditations, wisdom talks, and online courses. Integrating AI would amplify this, creating adaptive systems that respond to the emotional and cognitive needs of individuals. For instance, AI could identify when a student's stress level is rising and suggest a short Sudarshan Kriya sessions or Gurudev's wisdom quotes that restore calm. Moreover, AI can analyze patterns of conflict, anxiety, or aggression across populations and help design community level interventions. Peace education through AI could become the next frontier in global mental health, where technology becomes a healer, not just a helper. Vedic wisdom emphasizes samskara shuddhi or purification of impressions. AI, when trained with ethical data, could help people recognize and release negative impressions through mindful awareness. Gurudev's vision transforms AI from a mechanical instructor into a spiritual ally, bringing peace, balance, and awareness to the collective human consciousness. Now, both speakers acknowledge that technology reflects what we feed into it. How does this mirror the law of karma and what implications does it have for AI ethics? Yeah, the Gurudev's observation that what you feed in AI will reflect back is a perfect metaphor for karma, Siddhanta, the law of cause and effect. Just as every thought, word, and action leaves an imprint that returns as experience, every data point, algorithm, and bias we feed into AI reflects back into society as outcomes. If we encode compassion, we harvest harmony. If we encode prejudice, we harvest division. In Vedic terms, this is called Karya the principle of cause and consequence. Technology amplifies this cycle exponentially. A single biased algorithm can shape millions of lives. Therefore, AI developers today carry the same moral weight as ancient rishis. They are created in digital sutras that shape collective destiny. Gurudev's approach reframes AI ethics as karma yoga. The intention behind design matters as much as functionality. Every line of code should serve seva or selfless service. If AI is built with Shraddha or conscious intentions and Shanti or peaceful purpose, it becomes a tool of liberation. But if it is built from greed or control, it becomes bondage. The law of karma thus applies digitally as well. Technology is neutral, human consciousness gives it direction. Gurudev's teaching asks every innovator, what vibration are you programming into the machine? Now, Gurudev spoke about the importance of intuition alongside intelligence. How does this balance between intuition and intellect apply in the age of artificial intelligence? Gurudev's insight into the coexistence of intuition and intelligence is profound. He often says intelligence analyzes, but intuition knows. In the world of AI, we are witnessing immense growth in analytical capability. Machines can calculate, predict, and pattern recognize faster than any human. Yet Gurudev reminds us that beyond logic lies a subtler dimension of awareness, intuition, which arises from a quiet meditative mind. Intuition is the language of consciousness. When Andrew Ng emphasized data driven decisions, Gurudev added that not everything valuable can be quantified. Some of humanity's greatest leaps, scientific discoveries, compassionate revolutions, and works of art came from intuitive insight rather than pure computation. The art of living intuition process, especially for youth, is a practical expression of this truth. It shows how silence, breath, and meditation refine perception to access information beyond rational thought. In the AI era, this balance becomes critical. Intellect without intuition can become mechanical and cold. Intuition without intellect can become vague. The synthesis of both creates wisdom or viveka. AI can process patterns, but the intuition perceives meaning. Gurudev often draws the example of a doctor. While AI can analyze thousands of medical scans, only an intuitive doctor feels compassion, which guides treatment beyond numbers. Now, from a Vedic Dhamma perspective, this harmony mirrors the union of buddhi or intellect and pragya or inner wisdom. The more humanity cultivates inner silence, the more intuitive clarity it brings to technological design. AI should thus not replace human intuition but assist in freeing our mental bandwidth. To deepen it, Gurudev's teaching suggests that the next technological evolution will not be artificial intelligence but awakened intelligence, where mind and machine coexist under the guidance of a higher consciousness. Now, Andrew Ng and Gurudev both emphasize education reform in the age of AI. How can AI transform education without losing the human touch that Gurudev considers essential? This is one of the most practical and heart centered parts of their discussion. Andrew Ng, being a pioneer in online education through Coursera, explained how AI can personalize learning, adapting it to each student's pace, strength, and curiosity. He envisions AI tutors available to every learner, regardless of geography or income. Gurudev agreed with this optimism but gently added a vital dimension. Education must not only inform, it must transform. AI can teach knowledge, but only a human teacher can awaken wisdom. Gurudev said, a true teacher does not just transfer data, they kindle life. This means that education should include not just cognitive learning, but also emotional intelligence, creativity, and the cultivation of inner calm. The Art of Living Foundation already embodies this philosophy in its schools and programs, where yoga, meditation, and value based learning accompany modern academics. From the Vedic Dhamma perspective, this parallels the ancient Gurukul system, where students lived in harmony with nature and learned not just skills but dharma, the right living. In modern times, AI can revive that spirit by reducing mechanical burdens like grading and administrative work, giving teachers more time to connect personally with students. Imagine an education system where AI handles customization and assessment, while human mentors nurture empathy, curiosity, and spiritual strength. Gurudev often says technology can make you efficient, but wisdom makes you sufficient. The ideal education system of the future will thus merge AI driven personalization with heart centered teaching, a marriage of logic and love. Ultimately, Gurudev and Andrew both envision education as a means of expanding consciousness. AI will revolutionize access to knowledge, but meditation and human connection will continue to define the soul of learning. Together, they create the complete education, one that shapes both mind and being. So Gurudev emphasized mental health as humanity's next challenge. How can AI assist in reducing stress and promoting emotional well being? Gurudev beautifully explained that while AI can't feel, it can still help humans feel better. Stress arises when the mind dwells too much on the past or worries about the future. AI, with its predictive and adaptive learning capacity, can detect these behavioral and emotional patterns and suggest timely interventions such as breathing practices, guided meditations, or Sahat Samadhi meditation, or reminders for mindful breaks. Andrew Ng mentioned how mental health apps are already using AI for mood detection and emotional support. Gurudev took it deeper. He said, true healing happens not through chatbots or analysis, but through inner silence. However, if AI can nudge people toward meditation, it becomes a bridge to consciousness. The Art of Living Foundation suggests digital well being initiatives already integrate breathwork and relaxation modules that could evolve into AI assisted personal wellness coaches. For example, an AI companion could learn from a person's emotional trends and recommend specific pranayama techniques from Gurudev's teachings and courses and programs. From a Vedic standpoint, this aligns with the Manonigraha, the art of mastering the mind. The Bhagavad Gita teaches the mind is your best friend or your worst enemy. If AI helps guide the mind toward balance, it becomes part of dharmic technology. Yet Gurudev cautions AI can guide, but transformation must come from self awareness. The machine can suggest calm, but only the human can become calm. Now, Andrew expressed curiosity about how spirituality can enhance creativity. What did Gurudev say about meditation as a source of creative intelligence in an AI world? Gurudev smiled and said, silence is the mother of creativity in the modern hush. Our intellect is cluttered by constant input. Meditation creates a pause, a vacuum from which new ideas naturally emerge. He compared it to the rhythm of the breath. After every exhalation, there is a moment of stillness. That's where inspiration lives. Andrew Ng noted how AI models generate art and design. By learning from massive data sets, Gurudev responded that AI can only remix what already exists. It lacks Sankalpa Shakti, the spontaneous creative impulse that comes from consciousness. Meditation expands perception, allowing the human mind to perceive beyond data to the source of all possibilities. In Vedic philosophy, this is Hridaya Shakti, the creative intelligence of the heart. A calm, meditative mind accesses intuition effortlessly. This is why Gurudev's Sehat Samadhi programs are known to unlock innovation in scientists, artists, and entrepreneurs. From a dharmic lens, AI can accelerate creativity, but it cannot replace the mystical process of inspiration. Machines create patterns, humans channel consciousness. Gurudev concluded that the next frontier is not machine creativity, but collective creativity, AI helping humans co create from stillness, beauty, and awareness. Now, Gurudev mentioned that AI should serve seva or selfless service. How can this principle be applied in the global use of AI? Gurudev said technology becomes sacred when it serves life. Seva or selfless service is the spiritual antidote to ego driven innovation. Andrew Ng appreciated this and reflected that many tech pioneers began with an idealistic vision to help humanity, but often lost it amid the profit and competition. Gurudev explained that the purpose of Seva is to dissolve the sense of I and expand identity from personal gain to global good. Applied to AI, Seva means developing tools that uplift human potential, education for the poor, diagnostics for rural health, and climate modeling for sustainability. Gurudev gave the example of how AI for Seva could predict crop patterns and prevent farmer suicides, a practical application of compassion in code from a Vedic Dhamsansthan view. This echoes Loka Sangraha actions for the welfare of the world. AI guided by this dharmic intent becomes a collective act of worship. Transparency, inclusivity, and non exploitation should be its spiritual pillars. Andrew agreed that true success in technology will come when innovation and compassion converge. Gurudev summarized it perfectly. When knowledge meets kindness, miracles happen. AI built on Seva Bhav, the spirit of selfless service becomes not artificial but Anandamaya filled with blissful intent. Now, Gurudev warned that if AI amplifies human greed, it could increase suffering. How can spiritual values prevent that? Gurudev reminded that technology amplifies what already exists in consciousness. If greed, fear, and ego dominate, AI will magnify exploitation. If compassion and awareness guide us, AI will magnify abundance. Spirituality introduces the principle of aparigraha or non hoarding and santosha or contentment. Andrew Ng agreed, saying that human centered ethics are vital. Gurudev replied that ethics must come from inner expansion, not external control. When people meditate, the craving for excess naturally reduces. Peaceful minds create peaceful technologies. In the Vedic view, greed or lobha arises when we forget our infinite nature. Meditation reconnects us with fullness or purnatva, making us creators, not consumers. Gurudev urged that AI ethics must therefore begin with inner education, training minds, not just machines. Now, Gurudev often said that technology without dharma is dangerous. What does dharma in AI truly mean? Gurudev defines dharma not as religion but as that which upholds life. He said dharma is the inner law of harmony when applied to AI. This means developing technology aligned with compassion, truth, and collective welfare. Andrew Ng agreed that AI systems must be fair, transparent, and inclusive. Yet Gurudev took the discussion deeper. True dharma arises from inner awareness, not regulations. In the Vedic understanding, even the most intelligent system must serve Rita or cosmic order. If algorithms manipulate emotions, spread disinformation, or harm livelihoods, they violate dharma. Conversely, if AI helps reduce suffering, enhance education, and uplift consciousness, it becomes dharmic. Gurudev emphasized the Sanskrit maxim, Dharmo Rakshati Rakshita. Those who protect dharma are protected by it. When developers follow ethical intention, society naturally flourishes. Now, he also warned that AI will not destroy humanity. Human adharma will. Therefore, cultivating personal integrity and meditation among scientists, leaders, and engineers is as important as technological progress itself. The dharma of AI is thus not just functional correctness, but moral alignment. And we observe that when developers have empathy, it reflects in their code. Gurudev smilingly said, then your code becomes a mantra vibrating with good intention. The future of AI depends not only on data and logic, but also on Dharma Sankalpa, the sacred resolve to serve life in every design. And you asked Gurudev about the future of work in an AI driven economy. How did Gurudev connect livelihood with purpose and spirituality? Gurudev said work should not just fill your pockets, it should fulfill your purpose. As AI automates repetitive jobs, many fear unemployment. Gurudev reframed it machines may take your tasks, but then they can never take your talents. He explained that humans are born not merely to work but to create, connect, and contribute. Andrew Ng emphasized reskilling and lifelong learning. Gurudev agreed but added that the greatest reskilling needed today is emotional and spiritual resilience. When people meditate, they access creativity and courage, discovering new ways to serve. He gave the example of art of living volunteers who turned the pandemic crisis into a movement of online seva, spreading meditation and support globally through Zoom and Google Meet sessions. From a dharmic perspective, every occupation has swadharma, its inner duty. AI may change job structures, but not the essence of selfless action. The Bhagavad Gita teaches that one who works with awareness is never bound by work. Gurudev suggested that AI could liberate humanity from drudgery so we can focus on higher pursuits like music, innovation, compassion, and inner science. He also reminded that a meaningful livelihood must include seva. If AI replaces jobs, society must create avenues for service. Let machines make money, he said, and let humans make meaning. That is the true evolution of economy into econ om e, where om sanctifies commerce with consciousness. Now, Gurudev spoke about energy awareness. How does consciousness relate to the data and energy fields of AI? Jagadev, this was one of the most metaphysical parts of their dialogue. Gurudev explained that both AI and consciousness operate through patterns of energy and information, but the key difference is Chaitanya or self awareness. Machines process data, consciousness witnesses it. He compared AI algorithms to the tanmatras or the subtle elements that form the universe, the vibration, form, touch, taste, and smell. Just as nature encodes intelligence in every atom, AI encodes human intention in every byte. Therefore, the purity of intention defines the vibration of technology. Andrew was fascinated by this comparison, noting how quantum computing too approaches the mystery of consciousness. In Vedic science, energy or Shakti and awareness of Shiva are inseparable. When AI is used without awareness, it drains energy and creates restlessness. But when guided by meditation, the same technology becomes uplifting and life supportive. Gurudev explained that collective consciousness affects even digital systems. Peaceful users create harmonious data networks. He gave a humorous yet profound line: if one stressed mind can crash your computer, imagine what 1,000 peaceful minds can create. It is also added that this insight aligns with the Sankalpa Shuddhi purity of collective intent. The more humanity meditates, the more peaceful the digital atmosphere becomes. Consciousness, therefore, is the unseen firewall of the AI age. Now, Andrew asked about AI and environmental sustainability. How did Gurudev link ecology with spiritual ecology? Gurudev reminded that outer ecology is a reflection of inner ecology. AI can be an extraordinary ally for environmental preservation, optimizing energy use, predicting climate change, and monitoring biodiversity. However, Gurudev emphasized that technological solutions alone won't work unless humans reconnect emotionally with nature. He explained that Prakriti or nature and Purusha or consciousness are intertwined. When the human mind is polluted with greed, nature mirrors that disharmony through droughts, floods, and imbalance. Meditation purifies the inner atmosphere, and AI can then help purify the outer one. Andrew Ng admired this holistic approach, agreeing that ethical sustainability must include emotional and spiritual sustainability. Gurudev said that AI, if trained to respect ecological balance, can act as a planet's guardian. Imagine AI systems managing water resources or preventing deforestation, guided by ahimsa, non-violence toward all beings. In the Vedic context, this is a Bhumi Seva, serving the earth as a living goddess. Gurudev suggested every AI lab should also meditate and plant trees, creating an energetic loop between innovation and regeneration. He summarized it beautifully: let AI stand not for artificial intelligence but for awakening of intelligence, the intelligence that loves, nurtures, and protects lives. Now, Gurudev described AI as a mirror of collective consciousness. How can humanity ensure that this mirror reflects peace rather than chaos? Gurudev said AI is a global mirror. What it shows depends on who looks into it. If society is anxious, divisive, and restless, the data that trains AI will replicate the same patterns. The only way to correct the reflection is to purify the source, the human consciousness. He compared the global internet to Akasha, the Vedic element of space that carries vibrations. Every post, thought, and digital act adds the subtle impressions of samskaras into the digital ether. Through mindfulness and spiritual education, we can transform this Akashic cloud into a reservoir of compassion instead of conflict. Andrew Ng acknowledged that bias in data is a huge issue. Gurudev smiled and said, then let's bias it with love, meaning let's consciously flood the digital ecosystem with acts of kindness, meditative awareness, and gratitude. The Vatican Sansthan calls this the mantra based computing, where vibration precedes calculation. When humanity vibrates in peace, even machines begin to serve peace. Gurudev's call is not just for ethical AI, but for enlightened AI born from collective meditation. He concluded, technology reflects what we are. Let's first be what we wish to see. Now, Gurudev mentioned that what we feed into AI is what it reflects. How does this relate to the Vedic concept of karma? Gurudev's insight directly aligns with the doctrine of karma in the digital sense. Every data point we feed, every code we write, and every intention behind technology generates consequences, some immediate, some delayed. Just as karmic actions shape one's destiny, digital inputs shape AI's behavior. AI will show the world's collective karma, Gurudev remarked. If society feeds it anger, polarization, and greed, AI systems will amplify those vibrations. If we feed compassion, fairness, and inclusivity, they will reflect harmony. This mirrors the law of karma, yad bhavan tad bhavati. As is the feeling, so is the result. Andrew Ng resonated with this concept, saying that algorithmic bias can only be corrected by conscious human bias toward goodness. Gurudev's perspective transcends ethics, it spiritualizes data. He said, when a mind is pure, its creation is pure. Therefore, AI development must begin with meditative clarity. Engineers and designers who practice mindfulness become channels of dharmic karma in code. The Vedic Dhamma Sansthan emphasizes karma yoga or selfless action. When AI is created not for profit but for service, its karma uplifts humanity. Gurudev summarized it gracefully. Your technology carries your samskara. Let every click be an act of consciousness. Now, can AI assist in spiritual growth or in spirituality beyond the reach of machines? Jai Gurudev, Gurudev beautifully explained that spirituality is not opposed to technology, rather, it transcends it. AI can guide you to silence, he said, but it cannot sit in silence for you. Technology can help people meditate, the apps, the guided sessions, or virtual satsangs, but the experience of meditation arises only in human consciousness. Andrew Ng expressed curiosity about this distinction. Gurudev likened AI to a lamp. It can illuminate the path, but only the seeker can walk it. Meditation, breath, and awareness connect one to the infinite consciousness, something machines can only simulate, never embody. However, AI can serve as a bridge. It can translate spiritual knowledge into multiple languages, reach remote regions, analyze global stress trends, and even personalize meditation techniques based on user states. At the Art of Living, AI powered analytics have been used to measure the impact of sky breath meditation on well being, merging data with experience. The officer added, in Vedic philosophy, the Guru Tattva, or the principle of wisdom, resides in consciousness, not hardware. Yet AI can act as a messenger of that Tattva. Gurudev emphasized using AI not to replace spiritual teachers but to amplify their reach. When integrated with human compassion, AI becomes a digital sage, carrying timeless wisdom into the global mindscape. Now, Gurudev spoke of a peace education as essential in the AI era. What form can this take in today's world? Gurudev lamented that we teach chemistry and commerce but not calmness. Peace education, in his view, must become a central subject in every curriculum, not a side project. Andrew Ng agreed, observing that stress and burnout are rising despite greater technological comfort. Gurudev responded, without inner peace, progress becomes pressure. Peace education, he explained, involves teaching meditation, breath work, emotional intelligence, and compassion from a young age. AI can help deliver these programs through immersive learning platforms and adaptive systems that track emotional well being. Imagine AI tutors that remind students to breathe deeply when stress spikes or guide them through mindfulness breaks. The Vedic Dhamma Sansthan envisions integrating mantra vidya, ahimsa, and sankalpa shuddhi principles into AI powered education, embedding dharmic values into algorithms. Gurudev's dream is a world where peace is measurable not through military expenditure but through collective joy in diocese. He said peace is not the absence of conflict, it is the presence of connection. AI can be trained to detect hate speech, prevent cyberbullying, and promote empathy based communication, thus serving as an instrument of peace. But only when humans consciously feed peace into it. Education, both spiritual and digital, must together produce not just smart citizens but serene souls. Now, how can AI be used in healing mental health crisis? as discussed by Andrew Ng and Gurudev. Gurudev called AI a mirror to the mind. When with the rising global anxiety, depression, and loneliness, AI can assist as a diagnostic and supportive tool, but only when combined with compassion. Andrew Ng mentioned that how machine learning can identify early patterns of stress through speech, typing rhythm, and social media usage. Gurudev saw this as a new dimension of seva service to sensitivity. However, he warned against over reliance. An app can detect sadness, but it cannot give love. For healing, human connection remains irreplaceable. Gurudev's vision is a hybrid model. AI identifies patterns, while meditation, breathing techniques, and real community engagement offer a cure. The Art of Living has already piloted mental wellness programs using AI chat interfaces that recommend guided meditations, sky breath, and journaling prompts. These symptoms analyze user emotions and suggest healing practices aligned with the yogic wisdom. The Vedic Dhamma expands this further, proposing that AI platforms integrate Ayurveda and yoga psychology principles, mapping doshic imbalances of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha through behavioral data. This merges ancient science with the digital analytics. Gurudev summed it up. Technology can inform, meditation transforms. Ultimately, he visualized a world where AI is not just artificial intelligence but Ananda intelligence, a companion that reminds humanity of its joy. Now, Gurudev mentioned that AI should be guided by human compassion. How does compassion act as a moral compass in a world driven by algorithms? Gurudev's emphasis on compassion as the foundation of ethical intelligence is deeply significant in today's digital world. He said, when compassion governs technology, technology becomes a blessing. When greed governs it, it becomes a burden. In AI, algorithms are only as noble as the intentions of their creators. Compassion brings that intention of service, inclusivity, and sensitivity toward human well being. Andrew Ng acknowledged this truth when he spoke about algorithmic bias and fairness. Gurudev responded that compassion is not just a moral quality, it's a higher intelligence and energy that broadens perception. A compassionate mind naturally designs systems that minimize suffering and maximize benefit for all. In meditation, one experiences an expansion from the individual to the universal, from me to we. That consciousness shift is what Gurudev believes there should underlie AI design. In the Vedic Dhamma philosophy, compassion or karuna is one of the highest guna, a divine quality arising from realization of oneness or Advaita. When a developer meditates or practices mindfulness, they bring awareness into creation. The code they write reflects their state of consciousness. Thus, a calm and compassionate mind produces ethical technology. AI can analyze behavior but cannot feel. That's where humans must remain in charge. Compassion ensures that data serves people, not the other way around. Gurudev suggested that we create compassion labs in universities, spaces where AI ethics and meditation coexist, training future engineers in empathy alongside coding. Ultimately, as Gurudev summarized, technology should enhance humanity, not erase it. Compassion, when embedded in AI's purpose, turns machines into instruments of love and liberation rather than tools of control. The future of Gurudev and Andrew envision is not artificial intelligence alone, it's awakened intelligence guided by the heart. Now, Gurudev and Andrew Ng discussed the impact of automation on jobs and human purpose. How did Gurudev reinterpret work in the age of AI? Gurudev brought an entirely new dimension to the debate on automation. While Andrew Ng emphasized reskilling and lifelong learning, Gurudev shifted the focus to the consciousness behind work. He said, work is not just an activity, it is an expression of the self. When your action arises from joy, not compulsion, it becomes service. This view transforms the fear of job loss into an opportunity for self evolution. Automation will undoubtedly change industries, but Gurudev suggested that it also liberates humanity from repetitive labor, opening space for creativity, innovation, and spiritual growth. He reminded the audience that during every technological revolution, from the plow to the printing press, people fear displacement, yet each time humanity rose higher. The key is inner stability. When one meditates, the mind becomes adaptable and resilient, making it easier to navigate change. Andrew appreciated this psychological insight and connected it to the modern concept of emotional agility. Gurudev added that a society which values meditation and compassion will always find new forms of work aligned with collective welfare. When AI handles routine processes, humans can focus on art, caregiving, teaching, and spiritual guidance. fields that machines can never replicate. From the Vedic Dhamma perspective, this aligns with the Karma Yoga principle, working without attachment but with dedication. Gurudev beautifully explained that AI might perform karma or action, but only humans can imbue it with power or feeling. True fulfillment arises when work serves both material needs and inner joy. In conclusion, Gurudev's redefinition of work in the AI era inspires a holistic vision, technology as a tool for liberation, not limitation. The future, he said, belongs to those who combine efficiency with empathy, those who see work as worship, not just employment. Now, Gurudev and Andrew NG explored how mindfulness can influence AI leadership and decision making. How can meditation make leaders more effective in the AI driven era? Jagadav Gurudev emphasized that leadership in the age of AI is not merely about intellect, it's about clarity. He said, a leader who is calm and centered will make better decisions than one who is anxious and reactive. Andrew NG, being a scientist, resonated with this, noting that even in data centric environments, emotional stability is vital for innovation. Gurudev added that meditation brings exactly that stability. It declutters the mind, refines perception, and strengthens intuition. In corporate and governmental AI strategy rooms, decisions carry immense responsibility, impacting economies, privacy, and human rights. Gurudev reminded that only a meditative mind can balance speed with sensitivity. Meditation is like defragmenting the hard disk of the mind, he said humorously. It helps you see what is truly essential. When leaders meditate, they act from consciousness, not ego, ensuring technology serves humanity. Andrew reflected on this, acknowledging that even AI teams face burnout and bias. Gurudev's advice was practical, integrate meditation sessions into workplaces so engineers and executives operate from a rested, rejuvenated state. The Art of Living's corporate happiness program already applies this principle in Fortune 500 companies, helping leaders make calm, compassionate, and creative decisions. From the Vedic Dhamma Sansthan lens, a meditative leader embodies the Sthita Pragya, one with steady wisdom. As described in the Bhagavad Gita, such a person leads through presence rather than pressure. Gurudev said, when the mind is free from agitation, its decisions are aligned with Dharma, the natural order. In essence, the meditation is not an escape from leadership, but the foundation of it. In the AI era, where information overload can cloud judgment, meditation offers the most advanced technology, the inner algorithm of awareness that guides leaders toward vision, balance, and compassion. Now, how did Gurudev and Andrew NG discuss the balance between technological progress and spiritual growth? Gurudev beautifully explained that technological progress is meaningful only when it uplifts human consciousness. He said, technology gives comfort to the body, but spirituality gives comfort to the soul. Andrew agreed, saying that while AI can solve practical problems, it cannot answer existential questions. Gurudev elaborated that every civilization declines when technology races ahead of ethics. The true balance is found when outer innovation walks hand in hand with inner evolution. He reminded that meditation and self awareness help one use technology responsibly. Without inner silence, technology becomes noise, he said. From the Vedic Dhamma viewpoint, this balance mirrors the Purush Prakriti principle. Spirit and matter must cooperate. When science and spirituality integrate, both thrive, creating not just a smarter but a more compassionate world. Now, how did Gurudev explain the human brain and AI comparison in terms of consciousness? Gurudev noted that AI mimics intelligence, but consciousness remains unique to living beings. AI can replicate responses, but not awareness. He said the human brain processes data, yet awareness perceives meaning. Andrew admired this depth there, calling it the philosophical core missing in current AI research. Gurudev explained that meditation cultivates and activates higher states of consciousness beyond logic, what ancient seers called the Turiya Avastha. AI can compute, but only humans can witness. He emphasized that the goal is not to make machines human like, but to make humans more aware. When consciousness rises, human intelligence becomes divine intelligence. The problem is not with AI, Gurudev said smilingly, it's with an awakened eye. Now, what was Gurudev's view on emotional intelligence versus artificial intelligence? Gurudev stated that AI can identify emotions through data but cannot feel them. He called emotional intelligence the heart of human civilization. AI may recognize a tear, but only a human can wipe it, he said. Andrew agreed, adding that emotional resilience is a skill future education must teach. Gurudev responded that meditation, music, and seva or selfless service are timeless tools to enhance emotional stability. In Art of Living, emotional intelligence is cultivated naturally through breathing techniques like Sudarshan Kriya. It balances hormones, stabilizes moods, and sharpens focus. Gurudev explained that when emotional intelligence matures, ethical intelligence automatically follows. AI may help diagnose depression, but only compassion can heal it. Now, what did Gurudev and Andrew discuss about AI in healthcare and healing? Gurudev praised AI's diagnostic capabilities but reminded that true healing includes mind, body, and spirit. He said medicine cures, but meditation heals. AI can detect disease patterns early, but yet a patient's faith and emotional environment accelerate recovery. And you noted how AI could support doctors through faster analysis, while Gurudev emphasized restoring the human connection between doctor and patient. He proposed integrating Ayurveda and meditation data with AI systems for holistic wellness. When science studies consciousness seriously, Gurudev said, the healthcare of the future will be truly complete. Now, how did Gurudev define the role of AI in human relationships? He reminded and said technology can connect devices, but only love connects hearts. AI may improve communication, but relationships thrive on empathy, not efficiency. He warned that dependence on digital connection could lead to emotional isolation if inner connection is ignored. Meditation restores balance, the ability to listen fully and love deeply. Andrew noted that AI chatbots reduce loneliness for some users. Gurudev appreciated that but added a machine can simulate care but not consciousness. True intimacy requires awareness, and awareness grows only in silence. The spiritual practices remain essential to preserve humanity amidst a technological convenience. Now, what was said about AI ethics and global harmony? Gurudev insisted that AI ethics must be rooted in ahimsa or non-violence and seva or selfless service. He said, when we remember that the world is one family of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, our technology will reflect that unity. And we discussed international AI regulations. While Gurudev focused on inner regulation through meditation and compassion, he proposed that every AI developer should take a vow of responsibility, similar to a doctor's Hippocratic oath, to ensure algorithms never harm humanity. When the mind is pure, intentions are pure, he said, that is the foundation of all ethics. Now, how did Gurudev relate AI to the ancient concept of karma? Gurudev fascinatingly said AI is like karma. It gives results based on input. The data we feed into AI shapes its behavior, just as our actions create our destiny. Andrew found this comparison enlightening. Gurudev explained that meditation purifies the input of the mind, ensuring our output or actions are harmonious. He drew parallels between feedback loops and algorithms and the karmic cycle of cause and effect. Conscious living, he said, is like debugging the code of karma, removing negative patterns and writing new uplifting ones. How did Gurudev and Andrew discuss the spiritual evolution of humanity with AI? Gurudev envisioned AI as a catalyst for collective awakening. When machines take over repetitive work, humans can turn inward, he said. That is the time to rediscover the infinite potential within. Andrew found this deeply inspiring, agreeing that AI can free people for higher pursuits like art, meditation, and compassion. Gurudev concluded technology should expand our time for silence, not shrink it. The next leap of evolution, he said, is not artificial but spiritual. When intelligence serves consciousness, now, Gurudev spoke about AI and creativity. How did he explain the difference between machine generated creativity and human inspiration? Gurudev smiled and said, AI can compose, but it cannot feel the raga. He explained that creativity has two levels, mechanical recombination and inspired expression. AI can process billions of data points to produce a painting, a poem, or a song that looks or sounds beautiful, but that beauty is structural, not soulful. True creativity, Gurudev said, comes from silence, the source where intuition and consciousness meet. A calm mind is the womb of creativity, he reminded. Andrew Ng admired how Gurudev bridged science and heart. He noticed that machine learning models mimic human outputs based on data sets but lack subjective experience. Gurudev elaborated, an artist feels the essence of existence before expressing it. AI only replicates patterns, it does not experience bliss or longing. This distinction highlights the difference between creation born from consciousness versus computation from the Vedic Dhamsansthan view. This aligns with Srishti Tattva, or the process by which creation unfolds from silence or shunya. Gurudev said that when humans meditate, they touch the same stillness from which all innovation arises. That's why moments of deep rest often produce breakthroughs scientists and artists cannot explain logically. He also suggested that AI could assist creativity by freeing humans from routine tasks, allowing the spirit to soar freely in expression. Let machines handle repetition and let humans express revelation. He concluded the real artist, he said, is the one whose mind is silent, heart is full, and expression flows naturally. AI may replicate art, but only consciousness can radiate the beauty. Now, how did Gurudev and Andrew discuss AI's potential in serving environmental sustainability? Gurudev said that technology should not just make life faster, it should make the planet healthier. He appreciated Andrews' vision of AI for climate prediction, sustainable farming, and energy efficiency. But Gurudev reminded the earth is not our resource, it is our mother. When we remember this, technology becomes sacred. He emphasized that AI, when guided by ecological awareness, can play a huge role in healing the planet, optimizing water management, predicting natural disasters, and reducing pollution through smarter logistics. Yet he warned that without compassion, the same AI could exploit natural systems for profit. The difference lies in intention. Andrew explained the importance of large scale environmental data sets. Gurudev suggested incorporating traditional knowledge, Ayurveda, ancient agricultural practices, and Panchatattva balance into AI models. From the Vedic themselves and perspective, such integration honors both science and nature. When we align AI with Dharma, we align with nature's intelligence, he said. You also highlighted the role of meditation in awakening ecological consciousness. A meditative person naturally feels one with the planet and acts responsibly. When you are calm inside, Gurudev said, you don't exploit the outside. AI may help monitor forests, but only awareness can prevent destruction. The combination of AI precision and spiritual compassion, he concluded, can restore harmony to our biosphere. Let AI assist and let awareness lead was his final message on sustainability. Gurudev said, data is memory, but wisdom is living intelligence. What did he mean? Gurudev drew a profound distinction. He said, AI functions on memory, on stored data, but human intelligence is alive, dynamic, and self aware. Memory repeats, wisdom renews. Andrew appreciated this explanation and compared it to neural networks that depend on vast data sets but lack a context and meaning. Gurudev elaborated that wisdom is spontaneous understanding arising from awareness, not from accumulation. He illustrated this using nature. A bird builds a nest not by recalling data but through innate intelligence. Similarly, meditation reconnects us with that intuitive intelligence that flows naturally. Gurudev's message was that humans must not become like AI, overloaded with information but undernourished in wisdom. From the Vedic Dhamma viewpoint, this idea mirrors the distinction between smriti or memory and pragya or pure awareness. When humans meditate, they transcend memory patterns and access the field of creative intelligence, the Chaitanya. Gurudev said that as AI expands external memory, humans must expand internal awareness. The two can evolve harmoniously, only if wisdom guides memory. He concluded with humor AI can store the Vedas, but only awareness can live them. This profound statement captured the essence of the discussion. Technology preserves knowledge, but consciousness embodies it. The true challenge of our age is not data scarcity, but wisdom deficiency, and meditation is the bridge between information and illumination and the wisdom and the enlightenment. Now, how did Gurudev and Andrew discuss the idea of consciousness in relation to AI and modern physics? Gurudev highlighted that science and spirituality are now converging as on one essential truth that consciousness pervades everything. He referenced how quantum physicists increasingly acknowledge that observation affects reality, echoing the ancient Upanishadic idea that the observer and the observed are one. Gurudev said, even a stone has consciousness in a dormant form. The universe is an ocean of consciousness manifesting at different frequencies. Andrew Ng found this fascinating, admitting that while physics can describe energy, it still struggles to define awareness. Gurudev smiled and explained that's because consciousness cannot be measured, it can only be experienced. He likened it to electricity flowing through a bulb. It's invisible, yet everything functions because of it. Similarly, consciousness is the substratum on which all intelligence, biological or artificial, operates. From the Vedic Dhamma point of view, this connects deeply with Chaitanya Tattva, the principle that awareness is not a product of the brain but the very source of existence. Gurudev suggested that scientists and spiritual seekers are exploring the same mystery through different lenses. Meditation, he said, is the direct method to experience this field of consciousness, while AI is humanity's attempt to mirror intelligence externally. He concluded When science and spirituality meet, technology becomes wisdom. AI is like the outer skin of consciousness, meditation is the core. Andrew appreciated this poetic yet precise metaphor. Both agreed that the next era of progress would emerge not from machines becoming conscious, but from humans becoming more conscious in how they create and use machines. How did Gurudev suggest about integrating peace education into AI learning systems? Gurudev passionately advocated for embedding peace education and emotional intelligence training into all AI based educational platforms. He said, "We teach children mathematics, languages, and coding, but not how to handle anger, greed, or jealousy. Without inner peace, no outer knowledge is useful." Andrew Engineers resonated with this idea and mentioned that Coursera and other platforms could integrate mindfulness modules alongside technical courses. Gurudev explained that AI could analyze emotional patterns in students and provide personalized interventions like guided meditations, breathing techniques, and gratitude reminders. Let technology not only sharpen the intellect but soften the heart, he said. From the Vedic Dhamma view, such integration aligns with the Manovikas, the holistic development of mind and spirit. Gurudev observed that society spend vast sums on defense and security, but little on cultivating peace. If AI could help spread meditation and empathy education globally, the effect would be revolutionary. He proposed a global peace algorithm where AI models are trained not only on data but also on values like compassion, unity, and nonviolence. The system could detect social unrest patterns and promote dialogue rather than division. We must train technology in ahimsa, he said with a smile. Andrew agreed, noting that AI without ethics is like a car without brakes. Gurudev concluded that peace must not be an afterthought, it should be the foundation of the AI curriculum. An educated mind without a peaceful heart, he said, is like a sharp sword without direction. Now, how did Gurudev explain the concept of balance between technological and spiritual evolution? Gurudev asserted that human evolution has two tracks, outer and inner. Outer evolution creates tools, inner evolution refines consciousness. When these two grow together, civilization thrives. When one outpaces the other, the imbalance arises. Andrew Ng noted that while AI accelerates the outer evolution, the automation, the data mastery, and connectivity, spiritual practices like meditation nurture the inner. Gurudev replied, the outer is the reflection, the inner is the source. If the source is chaotic, the reflection will be distorted. He warned that humanity's overdependence on machines could lead to emotional numbness and existential emptiness unless inner awareness is cultivated simultaneously. Just as we upgrade our devices, we must upgrade our consciousness, he said. Meditation, yoga, and wisdom traditions offer this upgrade. From the Vedic Dhamma lens, this is the essence of Yoga Vasistha, the harmony between Vyavaharika Satya, the practical truth, and the Paramatmika Satya, the ultimate truth. Technology must serve Dharma, not dominate it. Gurudev emphasized that the purpose of evolution is not just efficiency, but enlightenment. He beautifully summarized, science explored the outer space, spirituality explores the inner space. When both move hand in hand, the world becomes and blossoms in peace and prosperity. Andrew reflected that perhaps the future of AI should not be artificial intelligence but awakened intelligence. Now, how does Gurudev describe the relationship between knowledge and humility in his discussion with Andrew Ng? His Holiness Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankarji explains that true knowledge automatically brings humility, while half knowledge brings arrogance. In his words, the more you know, the more you realize how little you know. Andrew Ng, coming from the world of artificial intelligence, immediately resonates with this idea, noting that the deeper scientists dive into neural networks, the more mysterious the consciousness appears. Gurudev connects this to meditation. The deeper one dives within, the more expansive and humble one becomes. The Art of Living expert explains that this humility is not weakness, but openness, a readiness to learn from every person and every experience. The Vedic Dhamma adds that in the Vedas, the term Vidya Dadati Vinayam, knowledge gives humility, is central. Thus, both science and spirituality meet at this intersection. The true seekers, whether of algorithms or awareness, bow to the infinite unknown. Now, how does Andrew Ng view meditation as a tool for enhancing creativity and innovation in technology? Andrew shares that meditation helps him access clarity and fresh perspectives, allowing creative problem solving. Gurudev explains that meditation relaxes the nervous system, reduces mental noise, and awakens the intuitive intelligence, the kind of silent cognition Beyond logic that guides breakthroughs, the art of living adds that the intuitive layer of the mind is often overlooked in traditional educational systems. When a mind is calm and detached, creativity flows effortlessly. So the it is mentioned that the examples from ancient rishis who meditated and discovered scientific principles from astronomy to architecture, just as modern AI finds patterns through data, the meditative mind perceives patterns of existence through silence. Creativity, they conclude, is not doing but allowing. Now, what is the importance of emotional intelligence discussed in the dialogue? Gurudev says that without emotional balance, intelligence becomes destructive. Andrew reflects on AI systems lacking emotional context, and Gurudev replies that human intelligence guided by compassion becomes divine. In the Art of Living framework, techniques like Sudarshan Kriya build emotional resilience. So, the Vedic education never separated the intellect or the buddhi from emotion or bhava. When the two align, the communication improves, conflicts reduce, and collective intelligence blossoms. Gurudev emphasizes an emotionally intelligent society is a peaceful society. Now, how do Gurudev and Andrew relate AI ethics with dharmic values? Gurudev says ethics is the soul of intelligence. Andrew acknowledges that AI must serve humanity's well being, not just efficiency. This parallels with the dharma that which sustains harmony. In AI, dharma means designing systems aligned with compassion, truth, and inclusivity. It's pointed that the ethical AI needs inner ethics, a consciousness rooted in empathy. Without spiritual wisdom, technology risks amplifying greed or bias. Gurudev beautifully concludes that dharma is not religion, but universal responsibility in action. Now, how does the concept of seva or selfless service emerge in the conversation? Gurudev shares that the purpose of intelligence, be it human or artificial or absolute, must be service. Andrew agrees, saying that Coursera was built to serve learners globally. The Art of Living notes that the seva purifies the intellect, turning it from self-centered to selfless. The Vedic Dhamma Sansthan mentions that all rishis saw service as worship. The seva hi sadhana hai. Gurudev highlights that the joy of giving is higher than the joy of achieving. In AI too, technology that uplifts others embodies seva. The seva becomes the bridge between innovation and compassion. Now, how does Gurudev describe inner peace as a measurable and practical skill? Gurudev emphasizes that the inner peace is not luxury but a necessity. He says peace is a skill. It can be learned, practiced, and mastered through meditation and right living. Andrew asks how one measures peace, and Gurudev responds that physiological markers such as heart rate variability and brain coherence have already shown measurable effects in scientific research on meditation. The art of living adds that the peace is reflected in clarity, patience, and balanced decision making. The Art of Living remarks that in Vedic science, peace is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of awareness. When awareness expands, the disturbance dissolves. Now, what parallels do they draw when data processing and mind processing? Jagadev, Andrew describes how AI filters noise from data to identify patterns. Gurudev smiles and says that's what meditation does. It filters noise from the mind. The Art of Living expert elaborates that the human mind constantly processes sensory data, memories, and emotions. Without meditation, the system overheats. With regular practice, the unnecessary data or worries, judgments is cleared, making the mind sharper. The Vedic Sansthan adds that the dhyana is the ultimate mental algorithm. It cleanses, compresses, and expands consciousness. Now, how does Gurudev interpret the future of education through technology and spirituality? Gurudev envisions education combining intellect with inner silence. Andrew agrees, noting how online platforms democratize access to learning. The Art of Living adds that Gurudev advocates education of the head, heart, and hand. Knowledge should not just inform but transform. It cites the Gurukula traditions, where learning began with prayer and introspection. Gurudev predicts that the next evolution in education will integrate meditation, compassion, and ethics into STEM, producing enlightened innovators. Now, what message does Gurudev give to technologists about balancing ambition and surrender? Gurudev says ambition gives direction, surrender gives peace, and he reflects on the burnout culture in Silicon Valley. And Gurudev notes that surrender does not mean giving up, but giving in, trusting the larger intelligence of life. The Art of Living mentions that surrender dissolves ego, allowing energy to flow freely. The Vedic Dhamma adds that in the Gita, Krishna advises Arjuna to act without attachment to results. The Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam, balanced ambition, thus becomes joyful action. Now, how does Gurudev describe the ultimate purpose of intelligence, both human and artificial? Jayanath Gurudev concludes that the highest purpose of intelligence is to realize oneness, whether through AI or self inquiry. The goal is to dissolve boundaries between people, disciplines, and nations. Andrew agrees, saying that the collaboration and compassion must guide technological progress. The Art of Living adds that when awareness evolves, intelligence becomes inclusive. The Vedic Dhamma summarizes from the Upanishads the Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. All that exists is one consciousness. Gurudev smiles and ends when intelligence becomes love, technology becomes divine. Now, Jai Gurudev, so how does Gurudev explain the evolution of human intelligence compared to artificial intelligence? Gurudev explains that human intelligence is multidimensional, the logical, emotional, intuitive, and spiritual. Artificial intelligence, though powerful, currently functions only within programmed logic and data constraints. Andrew Ng remarks that while AI learns patterns through machine learning, human intelligence grows through awareness and experience. The Art of Living experts adds that the key difference lies in consciousness. AI can simulate decision making, but cannot feel or witness. The Vedic Dhamma explains that through the prana, the life force that animates awareness, Gurudev notes that as long as AI lacks this consciousness, it remains a reflection of the source. However, he encourages collaboration. AI can assist humanity, but must never replace the human heart. Thus, the evolution of intelligence lies in deepening awareness, not just expanding data.